Subscribe and hit the bell icon and never miss another video.
If your job is to pass opinions, don't mistake it for power.
While I refused to play arm candy to anybody when I was in my 20s in the 90s, in this one, Balki's cast me as brain candy. So I think that I'm wise enough to know that I want to work with people who know more than me. I literally die. And I thought that there are some things that are going to be buried and they will remain in the 90s.
Hey guys, my name is Shravan Shah and today I'm going to be having a conversation with the director of Chup and the cast. We have our Balki sir, Dulquer Salmaan and Pooja Bhatt in the house. What's up guys? How are you guys doing?
Good.
Wow, I thought I was loud.
No, I am very loud. but Balki sir, I love the trailer.
Thank you.
Okay, and my first reaction after I watched it, I was like, damn, this really happened. Okay, now the field that we belong to, we of course talk about criticism, right? And how much criticism is too much criticism? There is something called as constructive criticism that, okay, this could have been better, and then there is something people just saying for the heck of it, okay? When it comes to the field that you belong to, okay, do you today, whenever there is a film that you make or you back, do you read, the things that are written about it, and how much do you filter it?
No, because of the way things happened to me, I had not read anything about any of my films till before I started reading Chup, after my very first review of Chinika, unless it's good and people send it to you. So therefore, it's now going to be an experience. Now I can't pretend not to read anything else because I've read them all right now. So it's not about me, but anybody who's going to be criticized, however strong they are, it's about kind of absorbing the hurt always and kind of learning to move on. But everybody likes to be praised. If not praised, at least everybody likes to look at even a mistake as oh, it's positive, oh, I could have seen it like this. Yeah. I mean, when you advise somebody or anything else, it's for their improvement. It's not for their criticism. And my thing with anybody who passes an opinion on anything is very simple. You know, if your job is to pass opinions, don't mistake it for power.
Yeah.
It's a responsibility. You know, sometimes we mistake lots of jobs of responsibility as actually jobs of power, and that's the confusion in our society. Yeah. That's what's happening with even something as simple as this.
Perfect. Dulquer, coming to you, the guy who featured in Sita Ramam that released last month, to when I saw you, I was like, is this the same person? Because that's the range I think you bring to a character like this one. Okay, when Chup was offered to you, what was your first instance?
I think it was like how you reacted watching the trailer.
Yeah.
I was like, what just happened? Because I mean, you get a call from Balki sir and you're probably expecting a certain kind of film. Maybe you're not able to predict what it is, but it wasn't this. You know, I wasn't expecting something like this. It completely, blew my mind when I heard it. And it was like an instant yes, no-brainer. I want to do it. It scares the hell out of me, but I want to do it. And so we actually shot this between two scans of Sita Ramam.
Wow.
So I got to go into another character and come back.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But when you do that, okay, and this question again is going to be to you as well, Pooja. When you all do, let's say, two films simultaneously, okay, you're already, and especially when both the characters are so vast, okay, how do you make sure that you come back and catch the same sur of the character that you had left? Go for it.
For you,
Ladies
sir.
first.
For you.
I mean, obviously this was, at least Chup was a start to finish film. So that makes it easier. If I was jumping back and forth, that's a bit tricky. But also I think they're very well defined by, the makers and the writers. That gives you a lot of, and you're kind of figuring it out, finding the guy, and if you know who that is, then it's okay.
Makes sense. Pooja, coming to you, every time you start in a project, okay, you know that, okay, there is some gravitas this person is going to bring to the character because you've always done that. Do you know that there is an audience that always feels that whenever they see you, whether it's an OTT or the big screen?
Well, I'm happy to know that. I'm delighted to know that, but I must say that as far as Chup is concerned, I think he used the word no-brainer. For me also it was an absolute no-brainer, and I think that I can say again that while I refused to play arm candy to anybody when I was in my 20s and the 90s, in this one, Balki's cast me as brain candy. And that is
the best word I've heard.
so that is so delightful for
so
me.
Beautiful.
But I'm happy that people think that, I mean, I would only do something if my heart was in it, and that is actually true for where I am in my life right now. I mean, I'm in this magical honeymoon phase where I'm enjoying surrendering to, people that want me on board, their babies and their movies in that sense. And it's wonderful to just kind of be cast for you and to be just completely reinvented in so many ways and just have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, being told what to do is such a joy. It's such a joy. It's so liberating.
True. You as an actor, you get a script, okay, and between the script and the filming, at times what you've seen or read in the script is the same thing that you're shooting, but at times there is a miss that happens usually on films. As an actor, when do you realize that, hey, this is not going as per the plan, this is literally going the other way? And do you ever walk up to your filmmaker and be like, hey, I don't think this is happening the right way, or probably how I visualized it?
It doesn't go very off unless you're a very inexperienced filmmaker or something. Like, it's a first timer, you're taking that bet. So it's a first time director. Then sometimes it goes really off, and in a few days like.
You know it in the few days.
Everyone can tell. Like it's a little downhill sort of thing. Then of course, I mean, if there are ways to fix it, you figure that out. You have those conversations, and sometimes they take it, sometimes they don't. Also, if I'm the producer, then maybe you can influence a little more. You can maybe patch shoot some stuff. There's ways around it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's not always easy to figure. Like sometimes you have everything on paper, you have all your footage, you like the edit, you think it's come together well. And then it's kind of like just somehow you finally see it. Also, like when you see it on the big screen in a theater after release or something, then there's another life it takes of its own, which is something you can't pinpoint.
Makes sense.
You can have all your beats, all this, but there's one additional magic element that happens in a theatrical experience. I don't know what that is.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes
so
complete
it's
sense.
not. I mean, if there were ways to crack this, we would all have only super hits and award-winning films.
But the same question to you, Pooja. Is it easy for you to have those conversations with filmmakers saying, hey, this is not how we spoke about the character, this is not how I see it?
Well, frankly, I mean, after a 21-year hiatus, I was drawn back into the fold by Alankrita and Bornila and Bombay Begums, and I think that for me, it was all on paper.
Yeah.
And I'd seen Alankrita's work earlier, so the sensibility was in place. But I surrendered completely to the process, and I don't think it's my business to finally tell her or tell Balki how he should be shooting, because I think at the end of the day, what we all forget is a film, no matter what, is a director's medium.
True.
And he or she has the most difficult job is to get everyone to come on board and be in the same film day after day after day after day after day, It's like, no. The choreographer comes on and takes the film away. So everyone's seeing it differently in their head.
You should see directors when choreographers come in, when fight masters come, they're like, I have nothing to do.
This is not my movie, this is not my movie. Hey, this is not the movie, come back to this movie.
They're always fidgety and
so I think that I'm wise enough to know that I want to work with people who know more than me.
Yeah.
And then it's not my place to question that. So if I've surrendered to you, then I'm yours completely. And then that's it. I just go with your gut. And if something is going completely wrong, then there's a serious problem. Why would it go wrong in that sense? So I don't want to be in situations where I work with people thinking that, you know what, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to finally manipulate this and I'm going to then tell them how to do it. Then you shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
You should know why you hire people, you should know why you are willing to be hired by people, and then you should just keep your head down, learn your lines, show up on time and let them do their job.
Nice.
And I also think sometimes it's just best to say, you sure? I feel something good about it because I feel it can be done like this.
Yeah.
A simple conversation without manipulation might sometimes solve a lot of things. I mean, people read too much into this industry, how this communication process is overcomplicated sometimes. Sometimes people assume sensitivity when there is none and don't exhibit it when they should be. So we all get messed up a lot in this thing. I like the simple thing of, I can tell you what I want, yeah, I can say what I want.
Yeah.
Yes, it's sometimes simplicity is much better than anything else. It solves years of complications.
That is so true. No, but guys,
yeah, but he makes it sound very simple, but it's not so simple.
It's not so simple.
He's one of these rare people who you can have any
this
sort of conversation with, and is willing to take everything on his chin and say, let's get it out of the way now. Most people, like my father would say, कि direction की acting मत करो. So you have a performer performing, and then the director is performing behind the camera, and you know, so as an actor, you get those vibes, don't you? So you know when you're in safe hands, and you know when a person is constantly competing with you and wanting you to fail and give you the feeling that, you know what, you're only making it through this shot because of me. And that's an awful feeling.
Yeah.
So at this stage of my life, I just want to kind of surrender to people who know more than me. And so he doesn't do direction ke acting.
He doesn't do direction.
No, he just mystifies.
Very bad actor. I would never have the guts to come and perform the scene like this.
He demystifies and simplifies and makes it so easy. There's no room for any. There've been some.
He really keeps in a very good,
during the shooting of Chup as
like
well.
a great mind space.
That makes sense. Okay, the question to both of you are, do you guys ever sit down and watch your old content and, you know, probably reanalyze it and be like, okay, I should have done this better, or y'all just let it go? Or y'all don't even watch it probably?
You know, I die. I literally die. And I thought that there are some things that are going to be buried and they will remain in the 90s.
Never.
And then, digital. And then suddenly you're seeing things that you just want to forget. So I'm not somebody who likes to kind of, you know, look at old albums and look at old, I'm really not. I just move on. I don't look back much.
I don't know if I actively do it, but if it pops up or something like randomly, I do revisit. And of course, I would do everything differently. But that's just the actor in me, I think. We're never happy with what we've done.
That's true.
And also, there's 100 ways to play any role or act any take. You can emote any which way. So I think that happens. But I also like to see. I feel like I've grown also as an actor. So that's nice to see.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Perfect. But thank you so much, guys, for having a conversation with me.
Pleasure.
All the very best for Chup.
Thank you.
And like I said, this one is going to shock a lot of people for sure.
I
so
hope
looking
it
forward
does.
to it. And in the nice way.
In the nice way.
Well, I mean, I just hope that the reviews are very innovative, because there's no reference point to this.
They will be for sure. They will be sure.
So if you ask us to be different, I hope the reviews are different. Different. I mean, you know, bring on the criticism, but be different.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All the very best for Chup.
Thank
This
you.
one is a wrap.